Brilliance Audio presents the unabridged recording of Dead Heat by Joel C. Rosenberg, performed by Phil Gigante. To my dearest Lynn, you take my breath away and always have. I love you dearly, and I am yours for eternity. Chapter 1. Monday, August 31st, 7:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, CIA Headquarters, Langley, Virginia. It was going to be bloody, but it could be done if they moved fast. All eyes in the CIA's Global Operations Center turned to Danny Tracker. Once the Deputy Director of Operations, Tracker, 46, was the newly installed Director of the Central Intelligence Agency. Only he could authorize the Delta Force commander on the ground to carry out this strike, and it was he alone who would have to answer for his decision to the President, to a myriad of congressional oversight committees, and to his colleagues throughout the Byzantine world of U.S. intelligence. The agency had been hunting this high-priority target for months. Tracker watched as live video images of their prey streamed in from a Predator drone hovering, unheard, unseen, a mile above an abandoned warehouse outside of Sana'a, the capital of Yemen, where their target now entered, surrounded by scores of heavily armed bodyguards. "How far away are they?" Tracker asked the senior watch officer beside him as he surveyed the feeds coming in on 5 enormous plasma TV screens on the wall before him. "Both Delta teams are at least 20 minutes out, sir." Tracker winced. 20 minutes was an eternity in his business. They had to take this guy down fast. Umberto Milano, after all, was the head of operations for the Legion, one of the most feared terrorist organizations on the planet. Tracker flipped through the file in his hands, the one stamped "Classified, Eyes Only" in red. Only 40, Milano, the Sicilian-born son of Marxist radicals, had already served 7 years hard time for blowing up 2 banks in Rome and 1 in Florence, converted to Islam in prison, escaped with 2 fellow inmates in 2000, fled to Afghanistan, trained with bin Laden, returned to Europe just before 9/11, joined the Legion, a loosely affiliated European arm of Al-Qaeda, planned the Madrid train bombings in 2004, responsible for at least 8 other bombings from Casablanca to Cairo and from Jakarta to Jerusalem. After the demise of Al-Qaeda, Milano provided financial and logistical assistance to the Al-Nakba terror network run by Yuri Gogolov and Mohammed Jabril. What's more, the agency had some evidence, circumstantial but compelling, that Milano had masterminded the suicide bombing at the Willard Intercontinental in D.C. the previous January. Tracker had no doubt the Legion was planning something far deadlier, but at the moment he had no idea what. Milano had eluded the agency for years, operating in the shadows and off the grid. They had no idea where he lived. They had very little idea who his contacts and associates were. All they had were occasional bits and pieces of phone and email intercepts. This was the first time they'd ever been able to spot and track him in real time. They needed to take him down. They needed to make him talk. They needed to extract every last bit of information they could. And they needed to do it now. "Yesterday's tip on Milano's movements, do we know where it came from?" Tracker asked. "No, sir," the watch officer said. "But you're absolutely certain it's him in that warehouse?" "Yes, sir, I am." Tracker turned to 2 senior intelligence analysts, each of whom had spent much of his career focused on the Legion. "Do you guys concur?" "I do, sir," one said. "No question," the other said. "That's Milano, all right. And with all due respect, sir, we need to take him before it's too late." Tracker turned back to the senior watch commander and asked, "Do the Delta teams have everything they need to bring this guy in?" But the commander was no longer listening to the conversation. His eyes had suddenly been drawn back to the live feed coming in from the Predator. Now Tracker looked there too. "You've got to be kidding me!" he cursed. "They're leaving already?" No one said a word. The Predator feed said it all. A dozen armed men were clearly exiting the warehouse and taking up positions around the 3rd vehicle in a line of 5 black SUVs.